Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us on Let's Chat Survivor, where we're going to go ahead and be discussing episode 6, "Bunking with the Devil" of Survivor Cambodia Second Chance. With me, we have a new co-host, Mrs. Rachel here. Rachel, can you introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Rachel. You can find me on Twitter at SurvivorFanRach. I was too young to be watching since the first season. I'd like to think that I would have been watching from then if I could. It was always on in my house, so I just kind of grew up with it being on every week. And then around South Pacific, I started turning it on even when my parents weren't watching it. And then around, Caramoan, I found Rob Has a Podcast, and I, got a Twitter, and I just became a full-fledged super fan.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Rachel will be joining us from now on. Mark will be joining us back with us starting the next episode. Once again, my name is Saul. I forgot to introduce myself. You guys can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and here on YouTube at Perspective. And like I said, Rachel's going to be helping us out with this episode here, Bunking with the Devil. What were your general thoughts of this episode, Rachel?
This was a top tier episode. They usually don't get outstanding episodes like pre-merge. Usually the really good, like, exciting, edge of your seat episodes are, after they become one. So I was really surprised, at how, like, unpredictable that this episode was.
Yeah, and the previous episode, the previews, we see that someone was going to be taken out, and there was a lot of speculation as far as who it was going to be. Did you go into spoilers, or did you try to wait till the episode?
I was accidentally spoiled just because I'm pretty active on Twitter, and there's all like the Danny Strong stuff, and of course, I clicked, and I think even like Terry's wife, said something about it. There was like the shirts, Danny Strong.
Yeah.
And then when I heard someone was leaving for reasons outside of their control, I'm like, oh, this must be Terry. So I was unintentionally spoiled.
Yeah. I actually was really good at not getting spoiled. I made sure I stayed out of. It was actually really tough for me to be out of the Survivor Twitter, social media thing. But as soon as the episode started and when they went into Takeo, I was watching it with my wife, and I go, oh no, Terry's leaving. Like, I knew right away, and she's like, how do you know? I go, it's because right before the season started, I remember reading that his son had gone through a heart transplant right during the time that the season had started. So I was like, oh no, I knew right away, and I go, yep. It really, really broke my heart. I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, and that's my bad. But only because I really, really like Terry. Terry was that very first Survivor that I really chose from the very beginning in his first season. So for him to go almost all the way to the end and lose, was really, really. I just disliked the winner of that season because of that. So when he came back, I was really rooting for him. I was really hoping he would win, and for him to get taken out in this manner sucks. But I know he should get at least one more try at it, because this is way out of his control.
Well, I'm kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum. I never liked Terry. I've gone back and I've watched all the old seasons, and I don't know. I really was rubbed the wrong way by like the way he talked to women, the way he talked to Sari. I don't know. I wasn't into the whole macho thing, and I didn't vote for him to get onto this season. I'm like, do we really need this? I was looking at the ballot. I'm like, what is with all the old men on the ballot? I was thinking, do we need to see Savage? Do we need to see Terry? So I was not a huge fan, but saying that, I like to see the people I don't like get voted out. I never want to see someone, be taken out for circumstances beyond their control. And despite, my feelings towards him, it was really sad to see him go that way.
Yeah, and Terry is one of those players that doesn't have the best social game at all. He doesn't have really any social game at all. When I was really liking him, I was more because of he was a real competitor. Big competitor. He's a challenge beast. I think at that time when I was watching it, I wasn't paying too close attention to other things that was going on. on the show. But yeah, I can see where some people might not like him. But yeah, so this happens very right off the bat. It's very rare that we don't get to see, the post tribal council right at the camp. So when this happened, like I said, I already knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So
I was really happy that this didn't take up the whole episode.
yeah,
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think usually things like this kind of consume the whole episode. Like, remember San Juan del Sur, like the whole trail mix scandal and Julie pulling herself out of the game was the entire episode. There was no merge boot. It was just her quitting, and that was anticlimactic and awful.
yeah. Normally that happens when that happens is because something's going on that either they're going to quit or they're going to go ahead and be medevac. So there's something that is going to lead up to that. Where this was just happened in the middle of the night. There was nothing to show or build up to it. So
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why that happened. So right afterwards, everyone is sad. Cass is just saying, it really reminds you that Survivor is just a game. It's not real life. If so we get to the next day, and where we see all the tribes come in, and Jeff tells everybody, Terry was pulled from the game because of a family issue, and everyone's bummed out. They are sad, and they really start talking about it. And I think it's Sierra, Wigglesworth. They start talking about what would cost them to get pulled from the game, if something like this would be warranted.
It was really brought to my attention how many people this season are parents. Typically, in a regularly casted season, there's a lot of young people. Like, I think last year there weren't a ton of parents on Worlds Apart.
Yeah.
So it just really strikes me just how, I think Spencer's the youngest.
Yeah.
And there's a huge age gap between him and the next youngest. So that's just an odd thing to note about this season.
Is Spencer's the youngest, and then it's followed by Wentworth, I think, or I don't know. Is
I
Wentworth?
think it's Sierra and then Wentworth.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Might
yeah,
have to fact check that.
but no, yeah. It's there. You're right. There's usually at least half and half of the young and the older group, where older groups will usually have a wife, will have kids, and the younger ones will not. But this time it's a majority of people who already have families. So right after that, Jeff tells them, hey, guess what? We're gonna have a tribe switch, and I think everybody saw this coming from the previews before, but did you think that they were gonna do a switch within the three tribes? Did you know they were gonna do a go back down to two? What did you think?
I was really hoping that they were gonna get rid of the yellow tribe. I can't pronounce the name.
Angkor.
Yeah, Angkor. I've heard people call it the Anger tribe, the Angkor tribe. So I get confused. So I think it was time that they just got rid of that. It was putting those people at such a disadvantage. It was making what should be a really awesome season too predictable.
Yeah, the thing with Angkor is that they were put onto a beach that had nothing. They had some things that we saw, but
I don't know if it came out more like on Twitter that logistically their camp was really difficult.
Yeah.
Like, to get to their water, and they had to really trek, which the other camps didn't have to do. So that's a major disadvantage.
Yeah, and then of course we had to listen to Savage.
Savage.
And we've already talked about it, that we agree on where we stand on Savage. I was real neutral on Savage, for a little bit, because I didn't really like him too much on Pearl Island, only because like I said before, I know he was loyal and he was strong in that season, but he was only loyal to the people he trusted and that he thought were strong. He was not very nice to the people who he didn't think were loyal or were not in his alliance. So that's why I was kind of neutral on him. And when Jeff Varner was telling us this is gonna get old pretty quick, he's getting on my nerves already, is where I'm like, yeah, this is getting too much already, because he complained so much when he went to Angkor, but this time around,
whiner.
yeah, and this time around he's happy. He is happy that the merge happened because it is something that
not the merge, tribe swap.
I'm sorry, the swap happened. He is happy
about that too, but
yeah.
one thing at a time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The swap happened because it's something that helps him out in the long run, you know. And it's like he has his ups when everything's going his way. He's got his really low downs when it's not going his way.
Is he like an aged Spencer?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, because Spencer. I don't know. I'm not sure how to categorize Spencer.
You know, because they're both known for having like the low lows and the high highs.
Well, see, I think Spencer is more emotional when it comes to like how he feels he's playing the game, whereas Andrew gets the lows where he doesn't think it's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the difference there. So we get the two breakups, right? We get Takeo, who now has Wu, Savage, Abby, Cass, Spencer, Sierra, and Kelly Wigglesworth, which is the new Takeo, and the new
Wasn't it Wentworth?
No, Wentworth is with Bayon.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. So Bayon, the new Bayon, is Joe, Keith, Wentworth, Stephanie. I'm sorry, Steven. Jeremy, Kimmy, and Tasha. And we see that Bayon once again pretty much kept Bayon intact, and the only one that came from Takeo, from the original Takeo, was Wentworth. So
I think the reason Bayon stayed so intact is how many Takeos are left at this point.
That is true. There's only been one original Bayon that's been voted off, which is Monica. But even in the first tribal swap, the Bayon stayed with an advantage still. So the Bayon tribe of Jeremy and Steven, at least, and even Joe have stayed together. No, Joe went to KO. Steven and Jeremy have stayed, and Kimmy have stayed together throughout the whole game so far. And I think that's rare because of how many switches they've already had. Normally there's only one switch and then the merge, and now we have already had two switches and they still stay together. That's odd, I think.
Yeah.
And lucky for them. So yeah, what did you think of the new tribes?
I can't even like keep track of all the switching. I think it really helped out Wu and Savage and everyone that was on the Angkor tribe. I think it really screwed over the people that had made that 5 deal.
Yeah, well, especially Wentworth.
Yeah.
So yeah,
poor Wentworth. She does not have a good record with tribe swaps.
Now, the one thing that I in this episode that really started annoying me with Savage is because, you know, he is the one that's saying that we need to stay Bayon strong or whatever, but he's already pulled in Abby, Maria, and Wu, and he's already saying that they're together, you know. So and of course Cass and Spencer now on the same tribe, and Cass is just worried about working with him, doesn't want to be with him, and even Spencer calls her his arch nemesis. He doesn't know how it's going to work. Because, I mean, we know what happened in Kagyeon, how that all worked out. And
they're great.
Yeah, I think they are great TV together because of what happened in the past. And even in Kagyeon, they were awesome together, even though I didn't like Cass in Kagyeon.
What exactly did Spencer do to Cass? I know why Spencer's mad at Cass, but why is Cass mad at Spencer?
I think it's more of all the comments he made during the season. You know, how it goes, Cass, 0% chance of winning. You know, something like that. And I think he was opposing her the whole time as well when she was doing her Chaos Cass move. And I'll be honest with you, I did not like Cass in her first season.
I loved Cass.
Mainly because she didn't choose a side. She was back and forth, and it's not because she was considered a villain in the season, because I actually do like my villains, but she was against all the people that I was going for, which is I was going for Spencer. So of course I didn't like her, and I actually tweeted about this, and I told her, and she actually liked it and she retweeted it herself. I told Cass that I didn't like her at the beginning of the season, the last season, but I have grown to really, really like the way she's playing this time around, and I like her the way she's grown, because she is one of the people that exactly you can actually see the way that they've improved their game from the previous time.
I definitely think that the fact that she's considering a Comcast is an improvement to what she was last time.
Well, and also she was in the Love Tribe to begin with, and
she named it the Love Tribe.
Yeah, and I think what happened is she even said it. The very first time I was out there with people who were out there playing poker from the very start. So she had to have her guard up, And this time around, people are not playing that way. And Bion, they never went to tribal council, and when she was in Bion, so she didn't have to be playing that game yet. So when she didn't have to do that, she was able to calm down and like people and have people talk calmly to her and all that. So that's why we got to see that gentler side of her, and that's, I think, when she said that, I think that's when I realized, okay, I get her Chaos Cats. I get it. People were just going at her at a.
She came from a chaotic tribe.
Yeah.
Maybe she was able this time to be more calm because she was from the the self-deemed Love Tribe.
Yeah. Well, she went from the Brains tribe, and I put brains in quotations because of all the stuff that they did at the very beginning to show that they weren't the Brains tribe, but because they were all with high IQs, I think they were all trying to outplay each other. So they were trying to outwit, at the very beginning, and I think it built a mistrust since they had to go to tribal council time after time after time. I think it was 3 times in the first 4 episodes. So I think that really caused them to have to play so much faster than everybody else in Cagayan. So the only other thing that I can think about this swap here is that Steven is happy with the switch because he stayed, like I said, he stayed strong with Jeremy and with Kimmy, and now they have Joe back. But he still knows that there's a risk because there's still plenty of alphas in the group, and of course, he doesn't feel safe with them around. What do you think so far of the edit that we've gotten from Steven?
Oh my gosh, it's so he has, I think, has one of the most complicated edits. We're getting like dodo music, but then this week we're getting I'm an emotional human being, which is kind of the edit Spencer getting, and people are calling that a winner's edit. But when Fish got the edit, everyone on Twitter was like, "Oh, he's going home."
Yeah. I said what I said about this is that you've got to remember, Survivor knows that he is a big time podcaster. He knows the game and stuff like that. So they might be hiding his what his outcome of his game is going to be. Not to say that I think he's going to take it all the way, but that he wasn't actually going to go far in the game. And so they try to hide that by only showing certain things. It's not too far off from what we saw his first time around, because he did kind of get a little bit of the nervous guy in his first time around.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought we got a little bit more of a put together guy though. I know he was like nervous, but he seemed to have a plan, and he got some more strategy confessionals, and he hasn't been getting that as much.
Yeah, he hasn't been getting at all. Whenever he does bring strategy, everyone kind of just shuts him out. And I think that's why later on we do see that he breaks down. It's because nobody's listening to him. He wants to play, but nobody listens to him. And in the previous tribal switch, he was happy when Spencer came across, because he felt like he wasn't going to get a chance to play, because we know that Spencer and Steven are actually really good friends. But we didn't see much of an edit where they were talking at all, which I think is weird. I know they talked. They just we didn't get that much of an edit between them.
I believe that Steven is somebody that could win a season of Survivor. I just don't think it's this one. I think there's too many superstars playing at the one time, and then
I remember the very first episode when he was having his little thing on the first episode. I told I forgot who it was on Twitter, because I just want to reach into the TV and give him a Xanax. I need him to calm down because I don't want to see him leave early. I'm a big fan of his. I've never hidden that. I'm a big fan of Steven, and I want him to do well. But I mean, we don't never know. He got put into a tribe right away with a bunch of alphas. He still has a bunch of alphas around him, so we'll see how that works for him.
You know, I'm definitely rooting for Fishback.
Yeah.
Or Fishbach.
Fishbach, yeah. So we get a reward challenge. This right after the swap. Well, not right after, but after the commercial comes back, and it's a slip and slide challenge where you go through, and then in this case you're throwing the ring toss.
But that challenge is just an excuse to get Joe to put oil on his body.
I was actually surprised by Jeremy. I was like, and I tweeted to him. He goes, Jeremy, I love you, man, but I had to cover my wife's eyes when you were putting oil on you. And he liked that. He tweeted it, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, there's some really great moments from that challenge. Usually I'm one of the people that say less challenges, more strategy. Yeah. But there were some good moments that came out of this. The fish flop was great.
Yeah. I put on my notes, and he was flopping around like a fish out of the water. Yeah. So yeah, we get Jeremy versus Savage, and it's one of those things. It's just like you couldn't program that even better. Jeremy's ring lands on the holder right, not even half a second before Savage does.
He was so upset.
Yeah, Savage is like the son of. So Bayon leads right away. Cass versus Fishbach. Once again, we said he's flopping around, and Cass beats him. And everybody's, this is the first time I see Jeremy really like get real emotional, because he's a real emotional player. Other than when he heard Savage's story about his wife, but he got to get real emotional with Fishbach, telling him, "Come on, we need you to believe in yourself. We believe in you. You need to believe in yourself." And so I don't think we're seeing the connection between Fishbach and Jeremy.
Do you watch Secret Scenes by chance?
Not all of them, but I do remember him saying he doesn't care about that right now. He's not into it, but the challenges.
There was a great one from Jeremy where he says that Steven is the worst athlete he's ever met.
Yeah, that's not too far off.
But he was doing CrossFit to get ready.
Yeah, I know Natalie was on him about that.
Didn't work.
No, it didn't work.
Worked for Mike.
Yeah, it did work for Mike. Mike was a beast out there. Yeah, but I mean, like he said, I don't know I don't remember if it was part of Secret Scene or what it was, but it was something that where he says that I'm here for the game. I'm here to win Survivor. I'm not here to win challenges.
Yeah, I think that was a Secret Scene.
Yeah, and in our reality, winning challenges is part of winning the game too. Yeah. So try to get. I think he's trying to win.
He has an immunity under his belt though from his prior season.
He does. So we'll see. Maybe it just depends on what type of challenge he's in. Mm-hmm. So we get Abby and Kimmy throws the ring. It lands on the holder. Abby gets upset, walks away, and then Kimmy's ring falls off, and they're like, no, come get back here, get back here. She gets back and she makes it. So Takeo gets on the board, and they're now winning 2-1. And then we get Wu and Joe, which is who else? I mean, who else are you gonna pair Joe against? Right? Well, other than Wu. And I think they're doing pretty good. And then they tie 2-2. Joe wins.
Of course.
Then comes the last. Yeah. I mean, Joe. I'm on the fence with Joe as well because I know people love him, and I don't have anything against him. It's just I didn't see enough from him as far as
Yeah.
strategy wise last season to say that I really.
I'm not a fan of the Joe hype. I find him a very. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but I find him a very one-dimensional Survivor player.
Yeah, he's great at the challenges, but when it came to strategy, it wasn't
Not
there. It wasn't there.
Yeah,
And
it's not
even
there.
I think right now, getting a little bit better, but it's still not on par with anybody else. So we get the final showdown with just Kelly versus Kelly, Kelly W versus Kelly W, and it comes down to them, and Wigglesworth makes it, and Takeo wins. You know, Bayon doesn't lose a lot this season, but they've lost a couple, and this is one of the ones that they lost. And yeah, you can see people are frustrated that they lost, but I think later on someone says, "Oh, it's one of those things where we lose the reward, but we win the immunity, so it's okay."
Yeah.
So yeah, anything noteworthy on the challenge there?
No, I think that's about it.
How about when they go back to camp? Anything new? Anything that you want to talk about the new Takeo and new Bayon?
KO. No. Can't remember anything that really sticks out.
The only thing that I can really see is that it's of course Spencer talks with Cass about the last switch up, and Spencer's not sure how to take it with when he's with Cass this time around. The last switch up, of course, the one that just happened. Spencer is with Cass now. He doesn't know how to take it with her. She's really being nice to him. It looks like in camp, and he doesn't know how to take it. He doesn't know if it's real, if it's fake, and right away when they're kind of trying to get to talking to each other, we see Savage start talking about his terrible days in Angkor, and it's one of those things that like, oh, really, Savage? You don't know. I don't know.
He gets way too much screen time. I want a Wigglesworth confessional.
Yeah, and what do you think is going on there? I've heard that there's not a lot that she's been giving the camera, as far as a confessional goes. But
Yeah.
but what do you think? Is it just she's not giving the right confessional? Is she not? She just not talking? What is she?
I think she made it kind of clear in her, pregame press that she's just there to win, and all these other people they're there to win, but they all really care about camera time and like social media and people liking them. And I just really think she could care less. So she's not really trying really hard with the camera. She's not trying to, make good television. And since I think that everyone else for the most part is, there's no reason to show her.
Yeah, and I was tweeting with somebody today, and they said, "But we get real good hidden, or deleted scenes from her." I go, "Yeah, she might have good confessionals when it doesn't pertain to the game,
Yeah.
or it doesn't end up having anything to do with the outcome of the
Yeah.
episode."
I just think she's so out of the loop that she can't really narrate what's going on because she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, and then the thing is that she didn't have TV for a long time. I don't think she has TV yet. So she hasn't been keeping up with Survivor to be.
She's not running her own Twitter account. Someone else is running that for her.
Yeah. So yeah. Then we do see an alliance begin where Cass and Savage are talking about what we're gonna do in case of they lose immunity, and Savage right away starts to tell them that I want to vote out Spencer, which is really odd. I don't. I think he said he really liked Spencer at the beginning of the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I was really perplexed by that because he's the big bro alliance person. So I thought he would want to keep Spencer and maybe get out Sierra.
Yeah, which he says that he's going to use the whole getting Sierra out as a decoy. But really, is that something you want to tell somebody in your alliance? We're going to use you as a shield, pretty much. Because all you have to do is if the other person realizes it's a decoy, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get another person or two people to vote my way, and they're already voting for. I'm already voting for her. Someone else is already voting for
But
her.
the thing is, there was a, he said he's Bion strong, but he threw out a Bion's name. There was another
Yeah,
Takeo. He should have just said Woo.
yeah, Wu or Abby.
Yeah. So that was, I could see, I don't think Sierra overreacted there. So if I was her, I would have had some red flags going up.
Yeah, and of course, Cass still wants, like once again, she says she wants to get rid of Spencer again because she did it the first time around,
Well,
and
yeah, of course, because Spencer is gunning for her.
yeah,
Or at least she thinks that he will be.
yeah, and we don't get any more elaboration on this particular part of the episode, but we'll talk about a little bit more how she starts to think about getting rid of Spencer a little bit more after the immunity challenge. But we switch over to Bion, and I think that there was this really funny scene where Keith is cooking. I don't know what he's cooking. He's cooking chicken or something, and Kimmy's are like, "Oh, let me see," and she picks it up, and he's like, "Oh, don't mess up," and she drops whatever they're cooking into the fire, and and Keith just lets her have it. "Oh, you're done. You're done." Oh. And Kimmy's like, "Well, I didn't know how it was gonna fall off," which is funny because I don't see anybody else doing it. It was just them two, and Jeremy's just looking at him. I was like, "Oh, these guys, these are they're idiots or something." I don't know what he was thinking, but that's the kind of look he gave.
So dumb.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen the little gifs or gifs. I don't know how you say it, but of Keith, and they show him in the background. He's just messing around while people are talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's never doing anything. He's just in the back, or he's doing something goofy in the background.
But at least he's contributing something. Wigglesworth is just there, or at least people. He's some sort of a character, and he has some sort of presence. It's not really a strategic one, but he is bringing at least something to the season.
Yeah, yeah. At least we're seeing a little bit more of him. So yeah, in Bion, I'm trying to remember if we see anything more. The only thing of note that I can see is that they're talking about who they should try to get rid of in case they lose immunity, and right away everyone is saying, of course, old Bion is saying we should get rid of Whitworth. There's no reason why we should get rid of anybody else, but of course Joe has made an alliance with her in the new Takeo, or the second Takeo. And they said they were going to stick together. So Joe says, "I want to keep Wentworth around," and they even talk about it. And we're going to have some work to do. And Steven doesn't like this. Steven says that he knows that he's not going to be Bion strong. He's going to betray the alliance as soon as he's able to. And so he approaches Jeremy with this idea of wanting to get Joe out in case they lose. And Jeremy's not gonna have it, because Jeremy being an alpha male, he needs another alpha male there as his shield. Yeah. Which is kind of weird, because he said he doesn't mind being shielded by Steven as well, and have him go with Steven as his golden boy, for this season. So I don't know. I guess he's keeping both of them around as two shields. I mean, two shields is better than one, I guess. So
I don't think Steven is a great shield.
Well, what he said is that he's gonna use him as a shield because people know that he is a schemer. He's gonna be trying to get people to do stuff, and so if Joe is gone, he still has Steven there to like, hey, look, he's trying to roll up things. He has to go, so he can still at least buy himself another 3 days if he has to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
So we see Steven have this little breakdown because he can't get anybody to join his alliance. What did you think about his breakdown? We talked about a little bit about it. What did you think about it when you first saw this breakdown?
Oh, I felt for him, and I don't think it's because he didn't have an alliance. It's because his alliance wasn't listening to him. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever had any experience with trying to get a group of people to do something. But it really is the worst when you feel like you have great ideas, you feel like you know what you're doing, and no one is listening to you. And it can get really frustrating. And just adding, lack of food, lack of water, and then all the pressure of... I think the pressure of the fan vote is really an element that is being underestimated in this season.
Yeah, I think especially with him, especially with Steven, he knows that he's not back on only back there to correct the mistake he did the first time around, but he has the fans that want him to do better, and he has all of his fans from RHAP that want him to do better, and of course now he has even Rob C, who is gonna be analyzing his gameplay afterwards. So I think he's letting all that come down on him, and he even says that he said, I don't even get why I'm crying because of this.
Yeah,
but
they talked about that on Rob Has a Podcast, how he analyzes everything he's doing, and it really is just classic Steven.
yeah, it's like he's commenting. He's having his after show within the show.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good moment for him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were saying what WTF Steven, but for me it was more no. He's showing that he really really wants to win. He does not really want to lose.
And we're not getting that out of Wigglesworth. We don't even know if she cares. I really like to see, as a fan, most of us would really love the chance to get out there, and most of us are not going to get the chance to get out there. And we hate when we see someone like, a recent example is Will Sims too, just sitting out there doing nothing. So seeing someone, care as much as Steven does is really endearing, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I enjoyed this moment, and I'm hoping that it is turning out to be because of a better gameplay he's gonna have during the merge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have the immunity challenge, which is the gross food challenge. Not too complicated to understand what's going on there. First one to finish their gross food is the one that wins. In the food challenge, anything in particular that kind of stuck out to you as far as?
Yeah. So the two things that stood out was Kimmy refusing to eat the pig's brain for a second time, right? That's the second time she did that?
The first time it was the cow brain.
It was the cow brain. Mm-hmm. And then what really stood out for some reason was the Tasha Cass showdown.
Yes.
And yes. I liked I don't know if I liked it, but I noticed how Tasha seemed very proud of herself that she beat Cass.
Yeah.
She did a little dance or something. I noted that.
I think they have a better relationship than Spencer and Cass, but Cass also had a lot to do with getting Tasha voted out in their season. And really, from all the people from Cagayan, the only one that might have any leanings to work with each other would be Wu and Tasha. Everybody else were really.
Tasha voted for Wu in there, so.
Yeah.
But I think Spencer and Cass had an okay relationship pre-merge. I think Cass and Tasha were actually pretty close, in Cagayan before Cass caused chaos.
Yeah, as long as they weren't fighting each other or have a reason to mistrust each other, they've been okay. They've been.
I just think that when Cass flipped like that, Tasha felt really close to her, so I think she actually felt more betrayed by Cass than Spencer did.
And is there of the things that they ate, because they ate a tarantula, they ate the giant water beetles, pig snout, fried frogs, the pig's brain, scorpion, and the balut. Which one of those is there any? Which one of those, if you had to only choose one of them to not eat, which one would you not choose?
Not eat. The scorpion. We saw what that did to Mike Holloway last year.
But Mike didn't. I don't think Mike took off the. He took out the stinger, but he didn't take out the.
He didn't cook it. He just ate it.
Yeah, and you still have some poison in there, so.
Those were clearly cooked.
Yeah.
The ones that they ate.
I think the only thing that I would have trouble with would be the balut.
That's actually I have Filipino friends that they eat that on a daily basis. It's
really?
Yeah, it's something that people eat.
Yeah, well, it is a delicacy, but I don't know, because I think that's the only one I would eat. I wouldn't eat.
I heard that it's good. I've never tried it though.
When they did the pig snout, I've eaten pig snout. I'm Mexican. I eat what are chicharrones, the pork rinds. some of that is sometimes snout. So it's cooked though. It's not like that the one they ate, but I've eaten it before. So yeah. What did you think about Jeremy coming back and eating the balut?
Oh, I thought it was a little unnecessary there. I don't know if it was, a show of arrogance or just a trying to grab screen time, or if he was really just hungry. I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a part of it was that he was trying to get camera time.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But, I don't want to make accusations.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, at the very end, we see that the Bayonne wins with Tasha beating Cass. And we see that Cass is very emotional about letting the tribe down. And we see her in the confessional say that however, she would like to be able to send Spencer home again. And then she used a little nod back to her original season where she says Spencer Bledsoe 0% chance of winning the game. It made me smile because she's showing that she wants to continue to do some little bit of payback, I guess, for what he said. I guess once again, like we said before, we don't really know what else other than what Spencer said about Cass that would cause her to not like him. But I kind of like that little throwback. So we get back to the tribe, to the camp, and Savage puts his plan into play, and we see that he's telling Spencer that he's gonna go ahead and get rid of Sierra, and that he wants to go ahead and work with Spencer. However, Sierra is not liking this because she's the one that's being used as a decoy. What do you think about what Sierra's doing here? And she starts to shake things up.
I think it was about time. I was someone that was a big fan of Sierra in her original season, and then I've been calling her Cyan Sierra, because we just have not. That's my version of the Purple Kelly, because we just have not been seeing anything from her. I think part of that is because she wasn't feeling well. I mean, I don't really know much about that. Just we hear from a challenge that she was sick, but I'm glad that she's feeling better and is finally doing something in the game.
Yeah, it's we know that there was she was a good player last time around, and she was a very good liar, and it was very hard not to see much of her this season, but it was good to see that she stepped up her game this time around. Okay, so that's leading right up, almost up to when we're going to tribal council. However, we see Cass talk to Spencer, and they say, we don't want to rehash what we did in Cagayan, and they're like, okay, so they agree they're gonna let bygones be bygones, and Spencer says he likes Savage, and Cass lets him know. Well, he's trying to get you out. And he's shocked, and he even asked, "Are you being serious about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's trying to get you out." And he said he's going to tell you that they're going to vote Sierra, which ends up being what he told him, which I think makes it easier for him to believe him, because he tells him exactly who said they were going to vote. However, I think they were all there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think Spencer deserves a lot of credit for listening to Cass. Yeah. And believing what she had to say. Yeah,
because he could have easily said, "Oh no, she's trying to fool me again."
Yeah.
So we go to tribal council, and I think from at least from what we see on TV from week to week, if Jeff is asking you specifically a question and someone else specifically a question, you better be on your game.
Yeah, but we don't know how the tribal councils are edited. Those questions might not have been back to back. We never really know how that went.
Yeah, and that's one thing is that I've heard that tribal council actually can take a while. That it could be out there for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah, I've heard 2 hours average.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I've heard.
So we only get a condensed version of the tribal council, and we only hear the important parts that's going to lead up to what's going to happen. So like I said, based on the edit, if it's any indication of what really happens out there, it would be something that if he's asking you these questions, better be on your game and be ready to vote someone off. But if it's a evenly spread out questions, then it's kind of hard to tell what's gonna happen. So we're at Tribe already. Jeff is asking these questions to Wu and to Spencer about how they are playing their game, and we see Jeff has talked to Wu about his first time around, where Tony really much just brought him up and then let him just pretty much to the slaughter, just so that he got manipulated around. And he's asking, how do you know that's not happening this time around? And Wu just, I don't remember what Wu said at this point, because I'm not the biggest I don't back up Wu as much as some people. I'm not a fan of Wu because of his strategic play.
I don't think any really like super fans that are really active on social media are really into Wu. It's more like the casuals, I think.
I think he got in more because of his of how recent he was on Survivor, rather than because he's a fan favorite. So people just remember him because of how, what was it, a year ago he was on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was like 2 years.
So the vote comes around. Right before the vote, Savage says that he is very confident that in the vote and what's going to happen. And
that's
of course,
never a good sign.
Yeah, no, especially if it's shown on TV.
Yeah. Oh, Wu had a great confession. It's like, I'm finally in tune with what's going on, and I'm like, yeah, that's also not a good sign.
Yeah, no. If they're showing that on TV, it's because something bad's gonna happen. And as far as the votes go up, my favorite one was Spencer going up and he's saying, "Oh, may God, may God help me. My destiny in this game is pretty much it's up to Chaos Cast." So yeah, and this time around, she helps him out, and we see that Wu is the one that gets voted off. Like I said, I don't have much to say about Wu. He is really good at the physical part of Survivor. But strategy, there's really no strategy there at all from his end, which is really why I don't have any strong feelings about him. How about you?
Yeah, no, I was surprised to see him get voted on. I'm like, okay, this might be interesting, see if he changed it all. But then he gets back on, and it's like, is this a new show, or am I watching Kagiyan again?
Yeah, he definitely didn't change up too much at all from last season.
Yeah, there was no great, evolution at all. Yeah. And I don't know, he just did not, yeah, he didn't really, I don't think he brought much to the table.
Yeah, no, there was not much there. So yeah, what any closing thoughts about this episode?
Just that it was, I think, probably one of the best pre-merge episodes that there's been in a while. Yeah,
definitely. Like you said at the beginning, it's not very often that you get great episodes before the merge. Sometimes even after the merge, you get some duds in there. But this was a great episode. We have an episode 7 coming up, and we know now that it is a merge that's coming in episode 7.
A super early merge.
At 13, which is the biggest merge there has ever been, and I think it's perfect. Any predictions as far as what's going to happen at the rest of the game?
What's going to happen the rest of the game? Unfortunately, I think the bro down is happening. It's unavoidable. I wish it wasn't happening, but it seems like that's the road that this is gonna go. I don't think it's gonna be a wipeout that TKOs.
No.
I think Spencer has ingrained himself pretty well with Jeremy, who appears to be running the game so far. So I don't think it's gonna be a take out the TKOs. I think they're gonna start eating themselves sooner rather than later.
It's definitely not going to be a Pangonging. I don't think it's going to be a Pangonging, just because of the players that are there.
Yeah,
there's going to be someone that's going to be willing to flip over.
I mean, I think Andrew wants it to be a Pangonging, but other than that, I don't think anyone out there is like, yeah, let's just do what's predictable. I think they're all out there to play, and they wanna make a shocking move. So yeah. I think we're gonna see some mix-ups.
and we see chaos is coming.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of solid, alliances. I think we're gonna see a lot of, flipping, and I think I think alliances are gonna be very fluid this season.
It's going to be very much survival of the now.
Yeah.
What's going to survive? What's going to help me survive right now, rather than what's going to help me take me to
I
the end.
think we're gonna. I'm thinking that we might see more of like power duos more than like a solid five.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, so we would like to go ahead and thank everybody for joining us for this episode. Once again, where can we find you on social media?
On Twitter at SurvivorFanRage.
And once again, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and here on YouTube at Perspective. Let us know what's going on. We do have the new hashtag going on, LC Survivor. You can just let us know what you guys think about the episodes, how we're doing. Are we wrong at any predictions, or do you guys agree with us? Let us know. All right. So we'll see you guys next time for the next episode. Thank you very much for showing up.